Hi guys, are you getting tired? Are you guys having fun? Now it's my turn to play. Today is July 2nd. It's a Mopar day. The clock waits for no one. Actually, it says the clock and the calendar wait for no one. If you're a part of the No Name Nationals, you know what this clock is all about. Yesterday, I got the front torsion bar, the frame rails, torsion bars, this whole front clip installed. Nothing is welded up yet. Now I just need to fine tune everything and take my measurements and make sure everything measures out right. And then I need to throw some self-tapping screws in, which I just picked up yesterday. And then I will sink a couple of them in here and there. I'll hook my hood hinges back on, attach my hood, put my fenders on and everything, and then I'll check for gaps, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. And when I like that, then I will take everything off and weld everything and make it permanent. And then I can put everything back on again. Okay. I got everything dialed in, and I think I'm right on the money with everything. I might be an 1/8 of an inch off right here, but I was told you should have about a 1/4 of an inch allowance for the most part. So I think I'm right there. My measurements from here to here are almost right on. Here to here, right on. Here to here, right on. And same from here to there. I also measured, diagonal on the inside, I'm right on. Diagonal on the inside, I'm right on. Just pick 2 points. As long as you stick with them, no matter wherever you measure it, it'll work out. My hole's right here, perfectly centered. That one's gone. As you know, I'm replacing that inner fender. My clearances over here are right where I need to be. I measured from that hole back 7.5 inches. Let me get the camera. You're like, what are you talking about? The tabs are perfectly centered. That hole there, I think that's probably a hole for the jig. The front of the tab right there is 7.5 inches. Same with the exact set over there, 7.5 inches. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw some screws through here. Probably throw a screw through there. Probably a couple screws here and there just to kind of hold it in place. And then I'm going to start putting hood hinges back on. My hood hinges are perfect as far as where the fender needs to go. It's perfectly through the hole there. Steven, he's on his way. Steven Holtz from Just Drive It, up from Texas. He's en route. Should be here on the 6th on Saturday, and it's Tuesday right now. But I never took into account replacing this inner fender. That's what we got. It's a car again. Hashtag that will be a car again. What I got going on is gap wise needs to be lifted a hair, but then again the bottom of the fender is missing, so there's nothing to push out right here. This is like putting, I was gonna say lipstick on a pig, but it's more like chapstick on a hog. Because everything is just so messed up. But my gaps, for the most part, I think are pretty good all the way around, considering what I have to work with. And then on the inside, we're good to go too. So got a screw there. These are ready to go. Everything's ready to weld. And let's do this. It's my RSD. It's 9:30 at night and I'm just starting. It is July 3rd. It's a Mopar day, what's left of it. Actually started probably about 20 minutes ago. I need to get this inner fender out of here before I put an engine in. So I poked the centers out, drilled them. Now I'm starting to chisel everything out. I have a couple hours in the morning. We have a dinner at 3:30 to go to on the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, everyone. And Mom, I love you. It's her 79th birthday today. Love you very much, Mom. So let's take this out and so that I can put that one over there in. Time to go to bed. Wife made the phone call. It's what, 10 o'clock? Where's my phone? 9:59. That's rusty. But I got most everything done. I got all the way around there. I could get up here with the chisel. Couldn't get any further from the inside of the fender. So then I just came out here and poked a hole on the outside through here of the metal. And then from there I could get it under it and just peeled it back. So this whole thing is ready to come off. There's a couple spot welds up here, 2 or 3 of them. And then over here on top of the fender there's 2 or 3 of them, but I'm out of time, so I can get those tomorrow. I'll take an hour where I can get it. The reason why I wasn't out here earlier is because I had to clean house. You know how that goes. Gotta get it clean for Steven and Jason. Or so the wife thinks so. Okay, buddy, it's my turn to play now. Today is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, everybody. I took the hood off the car, the hinges, so that I can take my inner fender out. In order to do that, I need to get to the spot welds that are underneath this brace, so I got to take my fender off too, and then I'll put the new one in, or clean things up, put the new one in, put my hinge back on so I know exactly where to put everything, put my bolts back in, and once everything lines up with everything installed, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. check out Scott's Speed Shop. My friend Jed. He's got some awesome stuff. Fun projects, that's for sure. What I wouldn't give to have one of his engines in my car. Okay, I'll measure there and there, make sure they're at 38¼ inches from there to here on both sides, and we'll be good to go. It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. Oops, don't want to put it in backwards. It's the last thing I want to do. I got the fender on, everything's just loose and just sitting here. Nothing is tightened up or anything. I got all my bolts in my hood hinge. And what I did before I took this apart was I measured, since I goofed up when I cut that instead of taking the spot welds out. I had nothing to measure by over here. So what I did was I came over here to the flat part right up against the fender, and then I measured to this very edge of the radiator core support looking down. It's 38¼ inches. So do the same thing for over here, 38 and well, 3/4. Scoot that in, and then I'll sink a screw into here, and that should hold it in place. Then I'll take once I got my screw in here, and make sure all my bolts are lined up with these right here. Then I will go ahead and sink some screws in here, some here and there, just to hold it down, and then I'll start welding it up. Now I'm at the stage where I don't want to make stupid mistakes. I put that first screw in here, I pulled this back, screwed it in, but when I did that, everything pulled forward because there's nothing anchored back here. So, because this line back here was perfectly lined up, and after I put that in, it opened this back up. So what I did was I took this screw out, I came back here, pushed down on this, made it nice and tight, threw that one in, hammered this corner here because it stuck out a little bit, just conformed it to fit that a little bit, sunk a screw in here. I took them out though, and I came down here, and that enabled this little valley to line up a little better, and then I sunk a screw down there. But then coming around the shock tower horn, I got like a 1/2 inch gap between the panel and the back of to weld it to. It's hitting right here, you can see there, and it's hitting here. I used a hammer, and I pulled these back to allow that to go in more, but it's still not wanting to go down. And instead of beating all the crap into this and just caving it in real bad, I'm gonna go ahead and take everything off, and I marked between, you know, here and here where it's kind of rubbing, and so I'm just gonna take the fender out again and cut out, just grind down with the grinder some of that right there, and then hopefully that will allow it to sit back a little better. And then once that sits back a little better, I'm sure I'll still have to beat it down a little bit, but we'll see. And then once I do that, then I'll anchor everything down again. And once it's anchored to where I want it, then I will pull this back and set that screw. Let's send it. To recap, that hole is centered there. And by doing that, it brought this line up perfectly to where the elder line was. And then what I didn't notice before, but the gap here where it's munched on that, I had to hit somewhere, but what was happening was the bottom of this was sitting on the frame rail itself. I didn't catch that before. I actually stuck my hole punch underneath it to kind of lift it, and then I clamped it here, and then I measured up here, and then I sank this, so this is exactly where it needs to be. And by lifting this, what it did was, I was worried about up here, this curve, but I can still work with that. I can smack that down a little bit by lifting it. Right here, the top of this isn't quite lined up with here. However, on this other side it is. Everything's like perfectly parallel. So, but if I lift it any more, then this isn't fitting together at all. So I'll make that work. I still have access for my battery tray down here, my post for that. So I'm just gonna send it, and then I'll just, oops, sorry about that. Take a hammer and just start hammering this in and walking it around and go from there. So let's weld this booger up. I guess as long as you don't get in too much of a hurry and just put it on, because I do need to be, I got a deadline in like an hour. But don't let that get in your way of doing a good job, because you'll regret it later. I'm not saying what I'm doing is a good job, because some of you out there will be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But I think that if you pay attention to details like up here, and you know, your gaps, and you know, your mounting places, and you know, if you know, measure and all that fun stuff, and you know, I think you'll be okay, because these fenders are, there's a lot of room for allowance for up and down and back and forth and stuff like that. So, but I think I'm within the ballpark. As far as these wrapping around here pretty evenly and everything. So my distance between here and there, as long as you're paying attention, I don't think you can really go wrong, unless your skills absolutely suck. But we got to learn somewhere, right? And one more thing for everyone out there who's actually learning and doing hands-on and trying, you are way further ahead than all the trolls out there saying you're doing it wrong and stuff like that, and they've never touched anything. So kudos to you guys. Keep pushing forward and let the haters hate. That's what they're good at. Almost met my next goal. I wanted to have this welded in before it's time to go to dinner at our friends for 4th of July. Hi, Adrian and Caden and Kylie, all you guys, Tom. But I can do this when I get back. That was easy. Thanks for watching.